Thank you for tuning in. Today I am going to share with you 5 pre-paddle out safety tips so you can avoid injuring yourself and others.
I am gonna need some stitches. Got a surfboard, maybe surfboard fin to the head.
Keep going. Hi there. The sun's out, the water is clear, there hasn't been any rain for a couple of days, so the water is beautiful, but I got some new fins. I love my new fins. It feels so good. There's the beach. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's such a freaking beautiful day here. Woo. That was super fun. These are amazing. But I'm gonna go get my girlfriend. But the surf looks so good, so I'll get my girlfriend and my surfboard. Paddle out. All right, it's happening. Shelly's going in the water. First time. Okay, so the surf did not go as planned. I've been surfing for the last 15 plus years, everywhere from California to Costa Rica and Scotland in the North Sea, all the way to the Mentawai Islands. Today, I am here on a beach in beautiful sunny Costa Rica. It is early in the morning, but not early enough because that sun is already getting so bright. So we're gonna have to move right on through this. Today, I am going to share with you 5 pre-paddle out surf tips so you can avoid injuring yourself or others when you go surfing. I know it's not so glamorous because we get to the beach and we see the waves, and what we wanna do is put our sunscreen on, put our wetsuits on, and get in the water as soon as possible. I definitely share this excitement and enthusiasm. However, tip number 1, before you get into the water, as soon as you get to the beach, is safety. My recommendation is to take a minimum of 15 minutes before you get into the water to build confidence. This means observing any currents that might be there and just becoming familiar with what the ocean is doing that day. Tip number 2, I always recommend that you have an entry and exit planned before you get into the water. I have had to learn this the hard way. This one time I was in El Salvador. I knew where the paddle-in was, but I did not have an exit planned out, and I ended up having to swim so far down the beach because of how strong the current was, and it took me about 25 minutes to where I ended up having to get out of the water to walk all the way back. People are typically generous and very happy to share local knowledge for the most part. And another thing to have an entry and exit plan is to watch what other surfers are doing. During the 15 minutes while you're on the beach, building confidence, looking at the ocean, watch what other surfers are doing. See where the surfers are getting in the water, see where they're getting out of the water, see what is working, and also see what isn't working. Okay, tip number 3 of pre-paddle out safety tips is to warm up before you get in the water. And I don't mean just moving your shoulders around, stretching your neck, but really taking a minimum of 5 minutes to do a complete full body warm up before you get in the water. And I assure you, when you take the proper time to warm up before paddling out, you're gonna feel way more confident, way more connected to your body. I have this saying, if you don't have the energy to warm up, you don't have the energy to surf. Tip number 4, this is a good one. You've gotten to the beach, you've taken 15 minutes to observe what the ocean's doing. You've got your plan to get in and get out of the water. You've done your warm up and it's time to get in. So now what? You walk out to the water and you get on your board and you start paddling out. It is your responsibility to make sure you avoid any surfers who might be on an incoming wave and to control your board to avoid hitting anyone who might be behind you. Oh, look at this. Which leads right into the next point, number 5. Unfortunately, I had to learn the wrong way. Never paddle directly behind someone. Even if you know better, even if you know that person is a good surfer, my recommendation is to completely avoid that altogether. All right, thank you for making it this far on the video. This next portion, I gotta tell you, I never want to relive this ever again, and I hope that there's a takeaway on here to where you can avoid some of these mistakes and not have the same thing happen. That being said, stepping in the ocean never comes without its own risk. But when we take a little bit more precaution and are prepared before we step in, we can eliminate as much as possible. That being said, enjoy this next part of the video. However, at the very, very end, there is a little bit of blood. I do show the injury, so if you have kind of a weak stomach, if you don't like the sight of any amount of blood, then just skip the very, very, very last part of the video. Otherwise, thank you for coming and enjoy. All right, it's happening. Shelly's going in the water. Woo! All right, this is a good lull. We're gonna jump in the water and start paddling out. After this next wave, we'll start paddling out. Go to the left. Go. Keep going. Okay, so the surf did not go as planned. We got a little bump there. So I'm gonna go get stitches. Let's see here. I can't see anything. And I've got an opening about an inch, maybe a little bit bigger than an inch. It's not cute. Ah, we're here. All right, I just came in and got my blood work done, not blood work, just took my temperature. Just cutting my hair off. This is almost worse than the actual accident. Every time I film, if there's any of you creators out here who stop to film, everybody who walks by has to walk as close as possible because they all want to hear what I'm having to say, because this stuff is good stuff.